Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I should have known when Mom insisted on booking my flight herself. Don't worry about a thing, Verity. Just pack your swimsuit and relax. We'll handle the details. Those were her exact words, sticky sweet like syrup masking poison. Standing at O'Hare, I stared at the gate display blinking an empty promise. Miami. Gone. My suitcase sat like a stone at my feet, stuffed with new sundresses and a bottle of overpriced sunscreen I'd splurged on just for this family healing trip. $4,300 wired straight to Mom's account for a vacation they never intended me to join. My phone buzzed. Mom's voice drifted through the line, sugary and calm. "Where are you, honey? We're already at the cabin. You missed flight?" "Missed? You told me it was today. It was yesterday, wasn't it?" I hissed, pacing between oblivious travelers laughing at their own getaways. She sighed, the way she always does when she wants me to feel foolish. "It must have been a mix-up, Verity. Don't be dramatic." I could hear my sister Eliza giggling in the background. Golden child, the watercolor daydreamer. "Tell her we're about to go paddle boarding," Eliza squealed, her voice bright and sharp at once. A laugh broke from my chest, bitter raw. I clenched my fist around the handle of my bag. "A mix-up? You cashed my money and left me behind." This wasn't a mistake, it was a plan. Dad's voice came on, deep and dismissive. "Don't start trouble. You work too hard anyway. We thought you'd appreciate some rest at home." Rest. The word cut deeper than any blade. Years of wiring them money. Rent, groceries, that precious art school tuition for Eliza. And now I stood alone at an airport I dreamed would carry me back into my family's arms. But the truth hit me harder than the stale air and flickering gate signs. They never wanted me there, only my money. I hung up before Dad could lecture me again. Right there, by the windows overlooking the tarmac, I made myself a vow, no more. If they wanted my warmth, they'd feel the chill instead. And so I turned on my heel. My ticket worthless, but my resolve priceless. Back in my Chicago apartment, I sat at my kitchen table surrounded by stacks of old bank statements. The city lights outside felt colder than ever, flickering like distant stars I could never quite reach. I traced my finger over each line of the ledger I'd built for them. $49,000 wired in neat monthly deposits over the last 5 years. Rent, groceries, medical bills, Eliza's art career. Each transfer was a brick in the house they stood in while I pulled double shifts and skipped my own dreams. I called Eliza, needing to hear her version. Her voice came on the line, soft but wary. "Verity, why are you calling so late? Did you know they left me behind? Did you know the trip was planned without me?" I spat. She hesitated, a long, jagged silence. "Mom said you'd probably cancel last minute. She didn't want to worry you." "Worry me?" I barked out a laugh. "Eliza, do you know how much I've paid for your studio? For your art supplies?" She sniffed. I'm still trying, Verity. You know that." But I didn't know. Not really. The truth was they had used me like an ATM with a heartbeat. I slammed the ledger shut. My phone buzzed again. "Mom." "Verity, honey, don't overthink this. We're family. Family helps each other. Family doesn't abandon each other at airports, Mom." I snapped. "Family doesn't drain their daughter dry and lie about it." Dad chimed in from the background, his voice like gravel, like guilt wrapped in authority. "Don't you dare disrespect us. We sacrificed plenty for you." I stood by the window, watching the snow flurry drift down onto the street below. "You're right, Dad," I said. "You sacrificed my future, my savings, my trust, but not anymore." In one sharp motion, I grabbed my laptop, logged into the airline account, and canceled their return tickets from Miami. Let them figure out how to get home on their own dime for once. As I shut my laptop, the tension in my chest shifted, not gone, but changing shape. No more blind deposits, no more blank checks for their lies. This was the first line I'd ever drawn for myself, and it wouldn't be the last. I hadn't slept in 2 days. My mind buzzed with figures and memories, every sacrifice replaying like a bad debt. This morning, my parents and sister came to Chicago from Miami on an intercity bus. That's when Uncle Marcus called, the uncle everyone else called a lost cause. "Come by the lot tonight, Verity," he said. "Bring your patience." His dusty used car office smelled like stale coffee and motor oil. He pushed a pile of papers across the metal desk, his eyes narrowing. You know about this? I stared at the credit card statements, my name printed in bold. A balance of $15,000. Casinos, hotels, designer handbags. Not a single charge matched my life of discount lunch deals and thrift store coats. I never opened this, I whispered. Marcus scratched his stubbled chin. They did. Used your social security number. Paid the minimum each month so it wouldn't flag. I found out when your dad asked me for another loan. Said it was for Eliza's big break. You believe that? I sank into the squeaking chair, bile rising in my throat. So the money wasn't even for Eliza. It was for gambling. He nodded. And weekend getaways. Your mom's new gold necklace. This card. I laughed, an ugly sound that made Marcus flinch. They didn't just bleed me dry. They stole my name. My phone buzzed. Eliza. Her voice cracked the moment I answered. Verity, I'm so sorry. Uncle Marcus told me. I swear I didn't know. I've been stocking shelves at that little grocery store. I worked there as a cashier. They said you were helping me. I closed my eyes, pressing a hand over my chest as if it could keep my heart from shattering again. They used us both, Eliza. She sniffed. What are you going to do? I opened my eyes, feeling something solidify inside me. I'm going to freeze my credit, shut down every account they have a hand in, and I'm going to make them pay back every cent. Marcus grinned, grim and proud. About damn time, kiddo. As I stepped into the freezing night, the city lights seemed less forgiving, but I was done being their good little secret. They thought my name was theirs to spend. Not anymore. I'd spent years buying their love in quiet installments, but now every dollar felt like a shackle I'd let them lock around my throat. Not anymore. Sitting at my kitchen table, I stared at the repayment agreement my lawyer had drafted. Black ink on white paper, my freedom plan. I called Dad first, my hand trembling but my voice steady. You're paying back every penny, Dad, or I file for fraud. He laughed, a sharp, dismissive bark that once made me shrink. Don't be ridiculous, Verity. We're your parents, family sacrifices. Exactly, I shot back. I've sacrificed enough. You stole my name. You opened a card I never signed. That's identity theft. Federal prison time, Dad. I heard Mom's muffled sobs in the background, a performance I'd seen before. Verity, you'll ruin us, she whimpered. We'll lose the house. You should have thought of that before you gambling at a casino, I said. Sell the house, sell the car. I don't care how. But you will repay every cent. I expected another trick, and of course they tried. When I met them at Uncle Marcus's office to sign the papers, Dad clutched his chest dramatically, gasping for air. My heart. Verity, help me. I didn't move. Marcus just folded his arms. You gonna sign or not, Tom? Dad peeked through his fingers, realizing the show was over. Mom dabbed her eyes with a tissue, her mascara smudging like bruises. Finally, Dad grabbed the pen with a defeated grunt. The scratch of his signature felt like a door slamming shut on every lie they told. When they handed the papers back, I slid them into my folder, my spine straighter than it had ever been. You have 6 months to start payments. Miss one, and the next letter comes from the court. Mom reached out, but I stepped away. Verity, we're family. You taught me what family means, I cut in. It means you don't get to use me anymore. As I walked out into the icy Chicago wind, the world felt raw but honest. Their house would soon have a for sale sign on the lawn I'd unknowingly paid for. It'd feel the cold for once. I inhaled deeply, tasting the freedom on my tongue. This was mine, every breath, every boundary. I booked the same oceanfront cabin my parents had used my money to enjoy without me. This time, the reservation was in my name alone. When I arrived, the salty air hit me like a blessing. I stood barefoot on the deck, the Atlantic waves crashing below. For the first time, the silence wasn't loneliness, it was freedom. Eliza called. Her voice cracked over the line. I moved out. I'm staying with Uncle Marcus. I'm so sorry, Verity. I closed my eyes, the breeze tugging my hair. They lied to us both, Eliza. You get to start over too. Can we meet when you're back? Maybe. Rebuild? She asked softly. I smiled. Not for her, but for me. Maybe, I said. I ended the call and let the ocean swallow the past. Mom's guilt trips, Dad's manipulations, all washed out with the tide. My parents sold their house and paid back their debt to me within 6 months, and with the remaining money they bought themselves a small apartment in a condominium. My bank account was finally mine, so was my future. As the sun dipped into the horizon, I whispered to the waves, "This is my life now, mine." And for the first time, the water didn't take something from me. It gave me back everything I'd lost.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.